If you are just joining us, two young men apparently dressed in long black trench coats opened fire about an hour and a half ago at a high school just outside of Denver in Littleton, Colorado.
A tragedy of monumental proportions. That's how the president of Virginia Tech described the horror that unfolded there. A gunman opened fire, killing at least 31 people, the deadliest mass shooting in American history.
Reports of gunfire came as students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School were about to leave. The scale of this latest tragedy soon became clear.
12 victims were within the building. Two victims are outside, just outside the building. One victim on the street at the corner of Pine Island, and 2 people lost their lives at the hospital.
Do you, as a teacher, feel prepared if something like this would happen?
Absolutely not. No, not at all.
And honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with education and properly teaching the value of human life. You know, because a lot of the value is lost.
Have you ever been told what to do if a school shooter situation arises?
No, I haven't even seen anything. I'm in my senior year, so I've not seen anything one time.
No, actually, nobody has ever told me.
No.
Not really. I mean, the basic advice is just turn off the lights, go in the corner, and hide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's really helpful enough.
As a teacher, are you informed on any plans in regards to a situation if it were to occur?
We've had a couple briefings, but no, we don't have any active shooter drills or anything to prepare us.
Okay. Does that protocol kind of fall into like the same protocol as is it like a jumbled protocol, if that makes sense?
No, it's pretty particular, but it would still be as highly ineffective.
Okay.
It basically covers making the 911 call, locking the doors, attempting to throw projectiles at the shooter, things that seem like you could do the best you can in the environment you're in, but if you look at it holistically outside the environment, they're rather ridiculous. Thing. I mean, we've been told to throw a printer, to throw whatever we have available, throw a computer monitor.
There's so many issues, but there's so little answers, because if one issue solved, the other issue will still exist. So when it comes down to it, we have to be prepared in this society for these situations.
But how do we, 17 people dying, like how do we prepare for something like that? What would your solution for school shootings be?
More security to prevent them, I guess, because I feel like gun control is like such a far-fetched issue to kind of reach, maybe. But I would say for better security measurements on school campuses, I guess.
How do you feel about giving teachers guns?
I don't agree. That makes me way too anxious.
We're both education majors,
yeah, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with like holding a gun, like in class with kids. I don't know, it just makes me.
And
way
my
too
thing
nervous.
is like, if I'm a teacher and I'm in a high school class and a guy's bigger than me, he can take my gun.
As far as doing it for myself, I think it'd be a great incentive if educators wanted to be armed, and there was an avenue. I heard about a sheriff in Ohio who's offering free classes for teachers to go and get their concealed carry permit, and it filled up in like 15 minutes.
What do you think a solution would be?
A solution? Wow, it sounds like they've already proposed that. It sounds like more stringent controls on the type of person who could buy a gun, you know, making sure they're mentally stable and fit and all that stuff. And it might be something to do with, you know, the level of the gun itself. Like, does it need to be a machine gun or not? You know, so something like that would probably be worth discussing.
I think it would be mostly that, which is making it harder for folks to buy AR-15s and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
I sympathize with people that say armed guards, but I think it's unrealistic. It's a little too expensive.
Yeah.
I think make it harder for people to get these guns.
I don't know. Unfortunately, I mean, you're talking about 60,000 people. I don't think it should be the campuses, you know, policy. Of course, they want everybody to feel safe and be safe.
We should teach people at a very young age more of the value of human life, you know. And this is not like something you can do right away. It will obviously take a very long time, you know, especially with how things are right now and how a lot of the stuff you see in the media is like, you know, something racist or something horrible.
Do you think educating people in school systems on how to handle their emotions would benefit?
Yeah, of course. I feel like we don't even care about mental health that much. Especially, you always hear, oh, just get over it, or something like that, you know? And even though they try to advocate for it and tell you that it's okay to have mental health issues, you're still sometimes looked down upon for, like, I don't know, maybe feeling anxiety or feeling depressed or feeling angry. And these things are normal. But a lot of people just keep it bottled up until they explode, you know? And again, I feel like, and we know healthcare is a mess over here. And it's not an easy topic. I'm not an expert, obviously. But I do feel like we don't focus on it as much as we should. And so there's people out there that might have some issues that they haven't tapped into yet, but when they're tapped, it's gonna explode and it's gonna be ugly.
When it comes down to it, these kids are just like anybody else you see walking on the street, or your classmates, or even yourself. The fact is, they've been put in a shitty situation. If you were put in that situation, you would do the same thing. If they were put in your situation, they would be thriving in the same way you're thriving. But because they don't have access to, a lot of them are foster kids. They don't have parents showing them how to handle their emotions. They don't have people around them to care about them. And that's not to justify what they're doing, because what they're doing is fucked up. There's no other way to put it. But if they had, from a young age, been learning to handle the things that is going on around them in a healthy way, instead of, for some reason, an outlet these days is going and shooting up a school, and it shouldn't be an outlet. So why are we trying to take away the guns when the issue starts somewhere else?
Being mentally ill still doesn't justify things like this. We've gotten to a point where guns are so easily accessible and created, and like people can just go to Home Depot and buy parts.
That's my biggest issue with this thing, is how many cop-outs there is on both sides. Because both sides blaming the other side, you're still avoiding the real situation. If you're for saying it's mental health, and you're against the guns, then it's a cop-out once again. And that's not to justify what's going on, but it's that there's actually a real problem, and both sides are avoiding the actual problem, and it's never going to get solved if this continues.
People don't realize how real guns are until it's faced in your direction, until it's pointed to you, until you're put into that situation.
If you live in Florida and you see the shootings in Oklahoma, you're not going to be as affected as it is until it hits 15 miles from where you live, and then you're going to understand that this is a real issue, and you're going to see what's going on, and you're actually going to want to make a change. You don't care until it actually happens to you. In terms of the government, they have failed us over and over, so I don't understand why people are still going to the government when they're looking for these answers.
The FBI had records of him commenting on YouTube, "I'm gonna be a professional school shooter," and nothing happened. Like, do they care about these 17 lives lost?
Like, one person murder is a tragedy. A massacre, that's just a statistic. It's just a number. Oh, yep, 30 people died.
Because when it comes down to it, the biggest movements in history have been opposing the government, and it's been led by the people. So if there's going to be a change that's going to be made, it's going to start with the people.